Pretzels in history. We're at Julius Sturgis Pretzel Factory. We're going to learn more about pretzels. We're going to talk to Kurt Van Gilder. He is the manager of the store. So we're going to talk to him today and tell us about the history of how they got started and where they are today.
My name is Kurt Van Gilder, and I'm the general manager here at Julius Sturgis Pretzel Bakery.
Nice to meet you. And can you tell us a little bit of what the town of Lititz is known for?
Well, we're settled by the Moravians, and this is the home to America's first commercial pretzel bakery. It began in 1861, so well over 150 years ago.
How did Julius Sturgis start, and why pretzels?
He started as an intern working for a bakery down the street, which is currently Nemo's Pizzeria. And as a 15-year-old, he started working there. He got the jobs that nobody else wanted to do. Things like cleaning up the ovens after a long day and so forth. What he found was that the pieces of dough that had been left into the ovens overnight cooling turned into a hard pretzel. And he thought, we could probably sell these. And he went to his boss, and his boss said, no, that's junk. We throw them away or we feed them to the livestock. So go away. You're a 15-year-old. You don't need to know this. Well, he went back again. He was told no again. So he saved up his money for about 9 years. About 26 years old, he opened this place. He bought this building. The original building was built in 1784, a year after the Revolution was over. He added on to the bakery here and opened up his business and put his 14 children to work, starting at age 4.
Oh wow! Oh wow! So do you know what the 4-year-olds did? Because this is now interesting. We didn't even know this yet.
Mm-hmm. If you come and take our tour, you'll see all the original tools, including the big table where they kneaded the dough. And it's about knee high, so it was built for the 4-year-olds, so they would not have to bend over or reach up. So they hit it over 1,000 times, a 50-pound, what they call the bacon of dough, 50 times, back and forth, up to 1,000 times in all, just like we need dough in our own home. And then when they got strong enough and big enough, they carried up the big sacks of flour upstairs, put them in the flour chute to come down and start the mixing process.
Oh boy. Just sounds like the Eckley Mine Village, what they did to those kids that worked in the coal mines. That's what it reminds me of.
It was free labor for him, yes.
Okay, so there was a story that we saw about a homeless man that gave Julius Sturgis a recipe. So if the story is true...
It's probably not. That's family lore. And Barbara Sturgis, who is married to the great-grandson of Julius, his name is Tom Sturgis, she has debunked that myth. It was just kind of started and it kind of perpetuated like stories and lies do. So no, probably not. That did not happen.
Okay. So like, is the original recipe, or how close is the original recipe to this day that they started with?
It's pretty much the original same recipe. It's basically 4 ingredients. It's flour, water, yeast, and malt, and topping with a salt.
Forget the soda ash then. That we learned at
that's right. But it is, the raw dough is dipped into an ash, or what was basically a fermented wheat to give it the color. It's now used. We use an industrial strength baking soda basically to give it the color. Otherwise, you end up with a big white biscuit.
Well, do you know who Henry Rauch is?
Yes, he was the owner of the bakery where Nino's Pizza is, which he was the first one to employ Julius as a 15-year-old intern.
Oh. And then he's the one who turned down the pretzels.
He's the one that
and
turned
now
it down.
Julius is like, look what I got.
Because hard pretzels had been in homes for centuries, but they'd never been actually sold. And Julius was the first one to think, we can sell these, and clearly he did.
So, how were your pretzels delivered back then, and how are they delivered now?
They were originally delivered by horse and wagon, and wagons pulled up to our double doors on the side of our building, loaded them up, and they went up to a day's ride. So basically they went as far as King of Prussia area, just west of Philly.
Oh, wow.
So basically whatever a horse and buggy could do in a day's, that's how far they went. Today it's a commercial operation. Our factory's in Shillington, which is a suburb of Reading, and they ship roughly about 150-mile radius around Reading. There are distributors throughout the country that do private labels and do our product on a smaller basis.
You guys like everything about coming up with like new products every day, or how do you keep up with that?
We have traditionally products that come in, not every day, but I've been here for a little over 4.5 years. We've come out with 2 different types and flavors of pretzels. One is our new sourdough, which is highly popular, and the other is just like a seasonal one, so it's not a big deal. We have our basic products that we know sell well and that our customers love and continue to come back for. The bakery was here in Lidditz up until the 1950s, and then in the 1950s, Tom Sturgis opened up and moved up to actually Reading to the first time for about 20 years, and then moved to the suburb of Shillington in the early 1970s. So up for 150 almost years, the bakery was here.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That is really awesome. And you guys are still standing today, which is more amazing than anything. Cool. So how did the pretzels relate to the Civil War?
Well, that's very interesting. 2 things. The Civil War had a direct impact on the availability and the popularity of the hard pretzels, because back then both sides, the Confederates and the Yankees, ate what was called hardtack, which was flour, water, and salt baked to almost a rock-hard consistency. It literally broke teeth. The hard pretzels were much better, obviously much easier to eat, a lot better flavor, and they had a longer shelf life. So the direct impact of the Civil War helped impact and increase the need and the liking of the hard pretzels. Also, Julius had a direct impact. When the Confederates invaded Pennsylvania, Julius took a band of men from the Lidditz area and went and burned the Wrightsville Bridge over the Susquehanna River to stop, hopefully, the Confederates moving into this area. And of course, they never got that far. They stopped at Gettysburg.
Is that why they boarded up with the Indians then?
No, well,
the Native Americans, I should say.
The Native Americans, there's little small slit windows on our side that look into our basement. Those were built specifically. They're wide enough for a musket, and they were built for defense against the Native Americans. Attacks never came, but they were planning that.
Gotcha. So
the worst case scenario, yes.
Gotcha. So that way the French and Indian War, when that came, that they were trying to keep all that fighting away.
Correct.
Gotcha.
The family would just retreat into the basement and have a defense built there ready to go.
Cool.
And that was before the Sturgis family bought this building. It was the original owners that had built it that way.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's good to know. Because I wasn't even going to ask that, but I'm glad now I did, because now we know that happened before this was built. That's awesome.
The only bakery still surviving today. It's because he didn't have to pay his kids.
And these are all the original tools back to 1861. This is the flour chute, the mixing barrel, where they kept the yeast. And the yeast had to be moved because it had to be, just like today, the yeast has to be maintained at an approximate temperature of about 80 degrees. So it was moved to the basement, to the attic, outside, inside, depending upon the weather of the day. And this is the high-tech water barrel. High-tech because it's sealed to keep all the varmints out, and the dust and the dirt, and particularly the mice. So it was a water pump to get the water out. And if you see the original outline of the stairs, that was built, the staircase there, so when teenage sons and girls were able to lift a 50-pound bag of flour, they would walk up these stairs, put it in the flour chute, and then they would get the flour that way. Glad I'm not one of their kids.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh my gosh,
And these are the original twisting tables behind us.
and they had to have muscles too for that.
Oh, absolutely. And as you see, we just finished a tour, so everyone gets a twisting exercise with the flour and water mixture, so they learn how a pretzel is shaped and why it's shaped. Every part of a pretzel has a religious connotation.
Now, with your tours, now I know I took the tours twice, once when I was a little tiny kid and just like maybe about over 10 years ago. With the pandemic going on, do you guys switch out the doughs?
Yeah, it's always used only once. And the tables are disinfected throughout the day. Very little contact, as much as we can. We sanitize throughout the day.
Cool.
Yeah, we do require masks on tours, and whenever someone's even there for any amount of time, for safety reasons for themselves and our staff and other guests, we do require masks.
Okay, cool.
And then come on down, we'll show you the original ovens.
And what would happen is these metal bars blob of mess. So it was
These are the
terrible for
original
the
ovens from
bakery.
1861.
And
They're no longer in
basically,
use,
they got rid of all
but
these
they're here for the
and turned to a
tourists
more
to
modern
look at.
method, which is the Play-Doh method. Now, it's not
In a
actually
few
called the
minutes,
Play-Doh method, but
if you want
they
to stop
copied
filming
Play-Doh's
this,
style in that they
he's
you
going
put
to
the
turn
dough
on
in
the
one
twisting
side of it,
machine,
and it
which
comes
was
out
used
whatever
from the
design you want
1950s
on
to
the
the early
other.
1980s.
So this is called the
And you can see what
extrusion
it looks
method.
like.
It's the same method we use today, but this is only a little piece of it. The real machine is about 50 yards long and 2 stories high, and that is how we make all of our pretzels today. We can make millions of pretzels, and we can make a whole bunch of different designs with these cutouts. Any design you want, you can place in here, like horse and buggy pretzels, Christmas tree, hearts, anything you want, you can put in here, and that is how we make all of our pretzels today. So, as you can see, they're the same ones that are in this bag. This cutout will make the pretzel into the size of about a third of that pretzel. So that is how we make all of our pretzels today, and we are on our 5th and 6th generation of Sturgis at this time. And that is about all the information I have for you guys on this tour at the time. So thank you guys for coming, and as a reward for making those amazing pretzels up there, you guys can grab a free bag of your own pretzels as you make your way out. So yeah.
Do you guys only sell your pretzels as Sturgis pretzels, or do you sell them to other companies that market them as their pretzels?
Yeah, we sell them all under the Tom Sturgis now. All of our hard pretzels are made in this bakery today. But yeah, we sell them to a whole bunch of local markets and yeah,
But
different
they're under
grocery
that
stores.
brand always.
Yeah, they're under our brand.
Okay.
Cool. From the 1950s to the early 1980s. And as you can see from the picture, this is only a semi-use. It had a long conveyor belt, 14 machines on each side. One machine was responsible for each row of pretzels. So instead of 15 to 20 twisters, you only need to have one man handling 14 machines at a time. So it cut down on labor costs big time. And as you can see, they have little hair dryers on it. They realized that these pieces of metal, when they would rub against each other, they would create heat and friction, and dough don't do real well together. So that's where they would always jam. So Colin, if you want to turn this on for me, and if you want to zoom in on the little metal fingers.
Oh, wow.
So again, this is the same machine, same company that makes what is still the pin setters and bowling alleys today. And if you think about it, it's kind of the same thing. Little metal fingers doing the same thing. Move it on the side, it's kind of the same idea.
Right, and crisscrossing the pretzel, that's interesting.
So the only thing that this half changed, this still has the knot back here with the new extrusion that you heard talking about. It's lost the knot. So if you look at a pretzel, a hard pretzel today, it doesn't have the knot, you know it came from an extrusion machine.
Yeah.
Not this. This is only up to the 1980s.
Wow, that's crazy.
So if you come on a tour with us, we give them every half hour during our business hours, and you'll see all of these. You'll hear more about pretzels than you ever thought you could ever learn about pretzels.
Cool, we'll do
great.
that.
Okay.
Yeah. So then my other question is this. So do all the factories then of Sturgis use the same recipe? Or is it?
Well, there's only one
similar?
factory for Tom Sturgis Pretzels. It's still family owned, and it's run now by the great-grandson and the great-great-grandson of Julius Sturgis. So they are still running it, and they produce all the Tom Sturgis pretzels there in Shillington.
Oh, okay.
And that's why it's still family owned. It's still a very small business, but on a good day, they can still produce over 1 million pretzels a day. If all 3 lines are running, and it depends upon the size and shape of the pretzels, but they can even do that many. So that's kind of mind-boggling, but it's still a very small operation in comparison to other large corporations.
Gotcha. And how the, yeah, that was my other question I wanted to add. How is it that the mayor of Lidditz is connected to them?
Okay, our mayor of Lidditz, his name is Tim Snyder. His sister Barbara is married to Tom Sturgis, the president of Tom Sturgis, who is the great-grandson of Julius.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's back in the family by the Tom Sturgis Corporation and Tim Snyder jointly own this business. So it's been back in the family since about late 2006.
Okay, cool. And then, okay, so then they still use the same recipe then, and even with the new products that they're coming out with.
Correct. It's still the same basic recipe.
Gotcha. How many other products are there? Like, how many different flavors are there? And
Wow.
where are all their products being sold at? Like, what stores and stuff?
We have a direct distribution of about 150-mile radius around Shillington. So you can find them in Wise stores, you can find them in Stoppers, you can find them in Giant, and any other major grocery chain. And number of types of pretzels, wow, I'm going to take a wild guess. There's probably well over 30 different types of flavors and shapes and sizes of pretzels.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And are they sold just in this state, or is there other states that they can be sold at?
They'll go into Jersey, southern New York, northern Maryland, so it's about 150-mile radius
Wow,
of Shillington.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, we saw that you guys were on the news stations and also Mr. Rogers. How was that for them, and how did they come in contact with Mr. Rogers and other news stations?
We have visitors throughout. We've been on State Plate in the last couple of years. We're on several YouTube channels where we were just on Delicious Destinations. We're word of mouth basically, because when people do a search of history of pretzels, we're the #1 business that comes up because we are America's first commercial pretzel bakery.
Wow, so Mr. Rogers then,
He actually walked through those side doors, I believe it was the 1950s, early 1960s, and he learned how to twist a pretzel from the people who owned it at that time.
oh wow.
Yep.
That had to be exciting for them. Like, I wonder what that was
Yeah,
like to meet him.
you can still do a YouTube search for Mr. Rogers twisting pretzels, and you'll see our building.
Wow,
Yep.
that's crazy. So he just walked it right in, just like a normal customer, and said, "I'm Mr. Rogers." Like,
Well,
I'm here.
I'm sure he preset it because he had
Yeah.
to bring his cameras, but
Well, of course.
yeah, but that's how we get Delicious Destinations, how we had our YouTube channels, how we've had State Plate come, because they hear about us and they contact us and say, "Would you be interested?" Absolutely, we want to share the story of our pretzel business.
That is awesome. That is cool.
So come on down for a tour whenever you want and have some free time for us.
Exactly. And then how was the pandemic affecting this building due to shutdowns?
We have, because of social distancing, prior to COVID happening, we would have 20 to 25 on a tour at a time. To allow for social distancing, we now limit it to 8, unless a larger group comes in together, a family or a group of some kind that is already there in their own bubble. So we do allow more than 8, but 8 or less for different groups of people. And we do require masks, of course, whenever someone's in the building. We sanitize the building throughout the day. So we're as safe as we possibly can be.
Gotcha. Okay, and then do you know any pretzel jokes?
Let me think about it.
Do you want to follow him or?
He's got to think. He's coming back.
See, not everybody can memorize lines. Oh, he see, I could have done what I was gonna do. That's
I'm gonna cheat a little bit.
You see, that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna cheat like that. He's like, no, that looks stupid. I'm like, see, I should have. It would have been funny.
Well, you had time to prepare. He did not.
Yeah, but I kept
okay.
forgetting even though I was prepared.
Okay, two pretzels walked through a sketchy alleyway. One was assaulted, the other was not. K-N-O-T. What do you call a store that only sells pretzels, bagels, and donuts? Whole Foods. H-O-L-E. Where do pretzels go on vacation? Pretzelvania.
That's so true, honestly. I can see why they say that.
You don't like our pretzel jokes? Well, we're insulted. And that's it.
That's what it's saying.
Yeah, I like the Pennsylvania one because we are known for like
We're-
Amish stuff and bakery stuff.
80% of the nation's consumable pretzels are produced in Pennsylvania.
What?
That's why we're called Pretzelvania. 80%. Yep. Little known fact.
That is very interesting.
Pennsylvanians love our pretzels. Yep.
Darn right, because I mean, this is why.
We invented them basically. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
For the country anyway.
And it's crazy because I can say I'm not from Lidditz, but I am local. Where I am from Mannheim, always been. So, and this is like how I know a little bit
Because
about
the
these
Pennsylvania
towns.
Dutch or Deutsch, the Germans.
Yeah,
They settled in Germany. They settled from Germany to Pennsylvania. They brought their pretzels, and we loved them. So they've shared that joy and love.
And it was nice meeting you, and thank
Wonderful.
you for taking your time.
Thank you. I appreciate you thinking
Oh,
about
you're
us very
welcome.
much.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we're gonna hook you up with some
Well,
pretzels.
I'll tell you. I'll say.